The wounded creature. Karen lived on the edge of the forest, far from the city, in a small house made of metal and old ship parts. He was only 20 years old, but he worked as a mechanic. People brought him broken machines, and he fixed them. He liked machines more than people. Machines didn't lie. That day, the sky was strange. Clouds moved in circles, and the air felt heavy. Karen looked up while fixing a small flying drone. "Storm is coming," he said, but it didn't feel like a normal storm. Then he heard it, a soft cry, almost like a whisper. It came from the woods behind his house. He paused. It was not a bird, not a dog, not anything he had heard before. Curious, Karen grabbed a flashlight and walked into the trees. The forest was quiet, too quiet. Even the wind had stopped. Then he saw it. Lying near a broken tree was a small creature. Its skin was glowing faint blue, and its body was covered in cuts. It was breathing slowly, but each breath looked painful. It had no fur, but smooth skin and 4 legs, like a mix between a deer and a lizard. Its eyes opened for a second, large, glowing, and full of fear. Karen stepped back. "What are you?" The creature didn't answer. It couldn't. Blood, or something like blood, was leaking from its side. Karen didn't know why, but he felt sorry for it. He picked it up gently. It was lighter than it looked. "I'll help you," he whispered, not knowing if it could hear him. Back in his workshop, Karen cleaned its wounds. The creature didn't fight. It just stared at him with half-closed eyes. As the sun went down, the power in his house flickered. Lights blinked, machines beeped, and his old radio turned on by itself. Static. Then a strange voice spoke. "Signal found. Target alive." Karen froze. What was that? He turned off the radio and looked at the creature. It was sleeping, but its body glowed brighter now. Suddenly, a spark flew from his toolbox. His tools began to shake. Karen stepped back. "No way. Are you doing this?" The creature opened its eyes again, and this time, Karen saw something impossible. Its face shifted. For a second, he saw the shape of a human face, a girl's face, pale silver skin, closed eyes. Then it changed back into the wounded creature. Karen's heart pounded. "You're not just an animal." He didn't sleep that night. He sat by the creature, watching it, wondering what he had brought into his home. At sunrise, something was wrong. The creature was gone. In its place, lying on the same table, was a girl. Her skin was smooth and silver. Her hair was white like moonlight. She wore nothing but a strange glowing cloth around her shoulders. She was not breathing, but she was not dead. Karen stepped closer. "What? Suddenly, the girl's finger twitched. Then her eyes opened, huge, glowing blue, just like the creature's. She tried to speak, but no sound came. Instead, lines of glowing light appeared on her arms. They moved like writing, but not in any language Karen knew. The girl pointed to the floor. Her finger moved, drawing symbols in the dust. Karen knelt and watched. She drew 3 circles, then a triangle, then a symbol that looked like a wave. Then she wrote one word. "Run." Karen blinked. "Run? From what?" The girl didn't answer. Her body started to glow brighter, like she was charging with energy. Lights in the house flickered again. Then, outside, he heard it, something flying. Not a plane, not a bird. A black drone hovered above the trees. It had no sound, only a red light blinking under its belly. Then another drone appeared, then another. Karen backed away. He looked at the girl. "They're looking for you, aren't they?" She didn't move, but her glowing eyes told him everything. She was in danger, and now so was he. The awakening. Karen didn't remember falling asleep, but when he opened his eyes, it was still dark outside. The silver-skinned girl was lying where the creature had been. She hadn't moved. Her eyes were open, but she didn't blink. Her chest didn't rise or fall. It was like looking at a statue, but warm. Karen's heart was still racing from what she had written in the dust. Run. But where, and from who? He walked to the window and peeked through the blinds. The drones were still there, circling high above the forest. One had stopped right above his house. A soft hum filled the air, like a slow-moving storm was about to break open. He turned back to the girl. "I don't know what you are," he said softly, "but I think you're in trouble. And now, I am too." Her glowing blue eyes followed his movements. Still no sound, no words, just that silent stare that felt way too human. Karen grabbed an old blanket and gently covered her. He didn't know if she was cold. He didn't even know if she felt anything. But it seemed right. He pulled a chair next to her and sat down. He didn't sleep. Not again. The next morning, things got worse. 3 black trucks stopped outside his home. They had no markings, no license plates. Men in black suits stepped out, wearing helmets with red visors. They didn't knock. They didn't speak. They just scanned the house from the outside. Karen held his breath and crouched behind the table. The girl suddenly raised her hand and pressed it against the floor. Glowing lines spread from her fingers, crawling like vines across the ground. They stopped just short of the walls. A second later, the men outside turned away. They walked back to their trucks as if nothing was there. "What did you do?" Karen whispered. The girl didn't answer, but her eyes shimmered brighter. The trucks left. Karen stood in silence. He realized something terrifying. She had hidden the house, or maybe their presence. She's not just some alien, he thought. She's powerful. Hours passed. The girl slowly sat up. Her movements were slow, like her body was still learning how to move. Karen helped her. She was surprisingly light. She pointed at herself, and then at Karen. Then she placed her hand over her chest, right where a human heart would be. A soft voice entered his head, not spoken, not heard. It was felt. "Lorana." Karen jumped back. "W what?" "I heard that. Inside my head." The girl looked at him gently. Her lips didn't move. But again, the voice came. "I am Lorana." Telepathy. He had only read about it in strange old books and stories no one believed. Karen pointed at himself. "Karen, that's my name." She nodded. Then she showed him her hands. Her fingers glowed slightly. A small hologram appeared between her palms. It showed stars, many stars, and a spinning planet with 3 moons. It was beautiful, but it wasn't Earth. "My world." Her voice echoed again inside his mind. "Far, dying." Karen looked at her with wide eyes. You're not just lost. You escaped." She nodded slowly. Then her face became sad. More images appeared. Her planet on fire, tall towers falling, people screaming, strange creatures flying in dark skies. Then another image appeared, of her, trapped in a crystal pod, falling through space like a comet. Karen whispered, "You were running." She nodded again. They followed. He remembered the drones, the men in black, and the strange message on the radio. "They want you back. But not to help you, to capture you." Lorana looked down. Her hand trembled. "I was breathless, half alive. I used the only form I could, animal body, to survive." Karen was speechless. He had saved her thinking she was a strange animal, but she was so much more. "Why me? Why did I find you?" Lorana closed her eyes. "You cared. Others would have left me to die." A silence fell between them. Then her eyes opened wide. She stood up, fast, too fast. Glowing lines appeared on her skin again, faster this time. "They are close, tracking me." Karen's heart skipped. "What do we do?" Lorana reached out and touched his forehead. A spark flowed into his mind. Memories that weren't his. Alien ships, long tunnels, secret codes, escape maps. Then she said one word, out loud this time, her first real word. Run. And suddenly, his entire house shook as a bright light beamed down from the sky. They had been found. The chase begins. The ground shook under Karen's feet. A bright white beam lit up the sky above his house, humming like a giant electric storm. Trees swayed. Metal walls rattled. The lights in his workshop exploded one by one. Lorana didn't wait. She grabbed Karen's hand, her touch cold but strong, and pulled him toward the back door. Her skin shimmered like moving glass, patterns glowing across her arms and face. "Where are we going?" Karen shouted. Lorana didn't speak, but Karen felt her voice in his head again. Away. Fast. They ran. Behind them, the house was swallowed by the light. Then came the noise, a deep, low hum followed by a pulse that knocked birds from the trees. Karen turned once and saw it. A ship. Not a normal one. This was sleek, dark, and silent, like a shadow floating above the ground. No windows, no engines, just glowing red symbols on its surface and a black hatch slowly opening. "They're here," Karen whispered. "The people chasing you." Lorana nodded without looking back. They raced through the woods. Vines scratched their clothes. Roots tried to trip them. Karen's lungs burned, but he kept running. He had to. He didn't know why, but something inside him had changed. He didn't want to just survive. He wanted to protect her. After an hour of running, they stopped to catch their breath. They were deep inside the forest now, where the trees grew thick and the air smelled like wet earth. Karen collapsed near an old metal pipe sticking out of the ground, a leftover piece of an ancient transport system from before Earth's collapse. "This place is dead," he said between gasps. "No one comes here anymore." Lorana placed a hand on the pipe. It glowed softly, and the ground trembled. The earth beside them cracked open. A hidden hatch appeared. "What is that?" Karen asked, eyes wide. "Safe room," Lorana said inside his mind. "Old shelter. I remember." They climbed down quickly. The hatch closed behind them. Inside, the air was dry and cold. Dim blue lights flickered on, showing a narrow tunnel made of silver metal. Strange markings covered the walls. Karen ran his fingers across them. "These aren't human. My people built this long ago," Lorana said, "before war reached your planet." They walked for minutes until they reached a round chamber. In the center was a glowing table, floating above the ground. Small drones hovered silently in the corners, still active after all this time. Lorana touched the table. A map appeared. A star map. It showed Earth and something else. A red signal moving slowly toward it. "What is that?" Karen asked. Lorana looked at him with worry in her eyes. "They sent a hunter." He swallowed. "A hunter." She nodded. "Not just soldier, not just machine. A weapon, made to bring me back, or destroy me." Karen stared at the map. The red signal was getting closer. He couldn't believe what he was hearing. He had just wanted to fix drones and live quietly. Now he was caught between alien wars, secret pasts, and enemies he couldn't even imagine. Then something strange happened. The drones in the chamber turned toward Karen. One scanned his face, then his blood, then his DNA. They beeped in surprise. Lorana frowned. She touched the drone. "Strange. You are part key." "Part what?" "Your blood has ancient signal, hidden long ago. Maybe by your father. Maybe before you were born." Karen shook his head. "My father died when I was 10. He worked on deep space machines, said nothing about aliens." Lorana stepped closer. "You are connected to this. Not accident you found me. Fate." The chamber lights turned red. The map showed the hunter arriving. "We must go," Lorana said. Karen looked around. "Go where? We can't just run forever." Lorena hesitated, then reached into the table and pulled out a small glowing cube. She placed it in Karen's hand. "This holds my memory, my command key. If I die, you take it. You find the gate." Karen was confused. What gate? She didn't answer. Because the chamber exploded. The wall behind them cracked, and a black figure stepped through the smoke. Tall, thin, wearing armor that moved like liquid. It had no face, only a single red eye. The hunter. Lorena screamed, not with sound, but with light. Her body flared, knocking the hunter back. Karen grabbed her hand, and they ran again, through the other side of the chamber into a second tunnel. Behind them, the hunter followed, slow and silent like death. They reached a hidden lift. Lorena slammed her hand against it, and the lift rose fast, up through the earth, through layers of metal and soil, until finally they reached the surface again. But they weren't alone. Another drone hovered nearby. This one was different. Broken, flickering. It scanned Karen. Then it spoke. "You are target, not her. Orders updated. Human must be captured. Priority Alpha." Karen stared in shock. "Wait, me? Why me?" Lorena's eyes widened. They know you carry the key." The hunter rose from the lift behind them. Karen and Lorena ran into the trees again, this time not just fleeing for her life, but his own. Hidden truths. Karen and Lorena ran through the forest as if the night itself was chasing them. Behind them, the hunter moved like a shadow, silent, deadly, and unstoppable. It didn't walk. It glided above the ground. Trees bent as it passed. Small animals followed in fear. But somehow it didn't strike. It was following, waiting. Why? Karen didn't have time to ask. He followed Lorena down a narrow path that led to a steep hill. At the bottom, hidden behind thick roots and stone, was a hatch half covered in moss. Karen stopped. "I know this place." Lorena turned to him. "Here. My father used to come here," he said. "He told me to never open that hatch. Not until I was ready." "Ready for what?" she asked. He shook his head. "I don't know. I thought he was just being dramatic." Lorena stepped closer. Her fingers touched the rusted panel. The moment she did, the hatch glowed faint blue. With a slow hiss, it opened. Inside was a spiral staircase made of steel and lights. They didn't speak. They went down. The underground chamber was old, but not broken. Machines still hummed. Screens blinked softly, showing star systems, codes, and strange alien writing. It was a secret lab. Karen's father had built this. Lorena walked slowly, touching the machines. She seemed to understand them. "This place, not just human," she said. Karen stood frozen in front of an old screen. On it was a frozen image. A younger version of his father standing beside someone who looked like Lorena. Same silver skin. Same glowing eyes. "Is that your mother?" he asked. Lorena's face changed. A soft sadness filled her eyes. She touched the screen. It played a short video. No sound, just images. Her mother was shaking hands with Karen's father. A small device was passed between them. A glowing cube, just like the one Lorena had given Karen. "He helped her," Karen whispered. "Long ago." Lorena nodded. "He was part of ancient pact. He protected royal memory key. Until it could return to me." Karen stared at her. "So all this, it wasn't an accident." "No," she said. "You were chosen, born near a hidden gate. You carry the last piece." Karen stepped back. The last piece of what? Before she could answer, the room's lights turned red. An alert flashed across every screen. "Buri ACH, DDTCTED. Hostile presence inbound." The hunter had found them. Lorena rushed forward and grabbed Karen's hand. "This place holds answers," she said. "We must protect it." A part of the wall opened, revealing another room. Inside were old files, journals, tools, and one large machine covered in dust. It looked like a chair, but with wires and symbols carved into it. Karen approached slowly. "What is this?" "A memory seat," Lorena said. "Your father used it to store what he could not say aloud." Karen sat down. The machine lit up. In seconds, a rush of visions flooded his mind. His father speaking, younger, stronger, eyes serious. "Karen, if you are hearing this, then it means she has returned, and the hunter has come. You are not just my son. You are part of a promise I made. Lorena's people once saved Earth from the first wave. Now, it's our turn to return that help." Karen gripped the chair tight. "You carry within your blood a hidden signature, something I gave you before you were even born. It unlocks the gate, a bridge between worlds. Protect her, save her, or Earth is next." The message ended. Karen opened his eyes. He was breathing hard. Everything made sense now. "I'm the key," he said. "I can open the gate." Lorena looked at him with hope, but fear too. "Yes, but the hunter knows now. He will not stop." Suddenly, the wall exploded. The hunter stepped through the smoke. Its red eye locked onto Karen. "Keylocate. Human, muvist v take in." Karen and Lorena backed away. Then, to their surprise, another figure entered behind the hunter. It was a second alien, taller, with blue armor and golden eyes. This one didn't attack. Instead, he raised his hand. The hunter stopped moving. Lorena gasped. "A royal guard." The new alien spoke, his voice deep and slow. "She is alive. The line is not broken. I was sent to find her, but now I see the truth." Karen stepped forward. "Wait, are you on our side?" The guard nodded. "I came to bring her home. But if the key is here, we must move fast. The enemy follows. Not just the hunter, but something worse." Lorena's eyes widened. "The Maw." The guard nodded. "The Maw has awakened. If it reaches Earth before the gate is closed, all life will burn." Karen felt a chill down his spine. "What do we do?" The guard looked at him. "We prepare. We find the gate. And you must stand at its heart." Far away, above the Earth, something massive moved in space, shaped like a mouth with no face, swallowing stars in silence. The Maw was coming, and Earth had little time left. The message home. Deep under the Earth, in the hidden lab built by Karen's father, the truth had been revealed. Karen wasn't just a mechanic. He was the final key. And time was running out. Above them, something ancient was waking in the stars. The Maw, a creature that fed on planets, and now it had set its eyes on Earth. But before they could act, they needed help. They needed Lorena's people. Lorena stood at the central control table in the secret lab. Her hands moved across glowing panels, fingers dancing through light. Strange symbols floated in the air, letters from a language not of Earth. Karen stood beside her, staring at a screen filled with stars. "So this message, it's going to reach your home planet?" he asked. Lorena nodded. "If they are still alive." The royal guard, the tall alien who had stopped the hunter earlier, stood watch near the door. His golden eyes were serious. "The royal frequency has not been used in many cycles. If it reaches them, they may not trust it." Lorena replied calmly, "They'll trust me." She touched the last symbol. The lights turned bright blue. A deep hum filled the room as the message was sent into space, like a flare thrown into the dark. Meanwhile, Karen explored the rest of the lab. He found another room marked Gate Training, Phase 1 in his father's old writing. Inside was a strange suit, part cloth, part armor, with glowing threads woven into it. A screen on the wall showed two DNA patterns. One was clearly alien. The other was his. "They built this for me," he whispered. He knew I would wear it one day. As he touched the suit, it reacted, wrapping around him slowly. It felt cold for a second, then warm. The glowing threads lit up along his arms, chest, and neck. Karen gasped as visions filled his mind again. Not memories, but instructions. He saw how to power ancient alien tech, how to connect with the gate, how to resist the Maw's psychic pull. When the visions ended, he was shaking. Lorana entered and saw him. "You unlocked the first code," she said gently. "Your body remembers more than your mind." Karen looked at her. "The gate, is it real?" She nodded. "More than real. It's a path. Between planets. Between safe and lost. Where is it?" She raised her hand, showing a small device glowing like a compass. The light pointed northeast. Far, deep inside the old dead zone, where no machines work. That night, they waited. The message had been sent, but no reply came. The guard stood outside, scanning the sky. Lorana sat in silence, eyes closed, trying to stay strong. Karen stood by her side, wondering if hope was enough. Then the air around them changed. A sudden pulse, like a soft thunder rolling through the ground. The lights in the lab flickered, then turned white. The central screen lit up. A face appeared. Old, tired, but strong. Silver skin like Lorana's and golden eyes full of sorrow. Lorana stood, High Queen. The face spoke. "My child, we thought you lost. We felt your light vanish, and now you speak from the darkness." Lorana bowed her head. "Earth saved me. A human saved me. The Maw is coming. We must close the gate." The Queen's face changed. The gate was sealed for a reason. "You know what lies beyond." Karen stepped forward. "I carry the last key. My father helped hide it." The Queen looked at him with surprise. "A human child of the pact. Your blood remembers. Then the gate must open once more, before the Maw feeds." She gave coordinates and a warning. "You have 3 sun cycles. After that, we lose you to the dark." The screen went black. Before they could even breathe, the royal guard rushed in. "They found us." "What?" Karen asked. "Another ship, not the Hunter. Something worse. A Maw scout." Suddenly, the ceiling cracked. Dirt fell from above. The lights flickered again. Lorana grabbed the memory cube and threw it to Karen. "We run. Now." They rushed out the secret tunnel. Behind them, part of the lab collapsed as something huge broke through the earth, twisting black metal, long arms, and a mouth with no face. The Maw had sent one of its children. Karen, Lorana, and the guard escaped to a nearby abandoned spaceport hidden under layers of dirt and time. Inside, Lorana activated a long-dead alien ship using Karen's key blood signature. The engines lit up with blue fire. They launched into the sky, leaving fire, smoke, and the Maw scout behind. From space, Earth looked small. But below, something darker than night moved across the land. Feeding, growing. Karen stared at it. "If that thing reaches the gate." Lorana finished his sentence. "Then Earth will become the next dead world." They set course toward the old gate site, hidden on the edge of the dying zone. But none of them knew. The Maw had already begun whispering to Karen. Inside his dreams. Inside his thoughts. It wanted the key. And it was patient. Into the stars. The ship flew silently through the upper atmosphere, cloaked in blue light. Below them, Earth was changing. Cities flickered like dying stars. Forests began to twist unnaturally. Machines shut down. Signals went dark. The Maw's reach was growing, not with armies, but with whispers. It didn't destroy with weapons. It devoured hope. Karen sat inside the cockpit beside Lorana and the royal guard. His eyes were heavy, not from sleep, but from something else. A presence, a voice. It whispered to him, softly at first. You were not chosen. You were left behind. They used you. Let them burn. He shook his head, trying to ignore it, but the words kept crawling into his mind like cold fingers. Lorena turned to him. You feel it, don't you? Karen nodded. It's inside my thoughts, like it knows me. She placed a hand over his chest. Her skin glowed softly. The maw doesn't kill first. It breaks you first. Then you open the door yourself. Hours passed. They flew over dead zones, old battlefields where machines had turned on their creators, places the government had long erased from maps. But now, strange shapes moved in those wastelands. Not alive, not dead. Twisted metal, floating stones, trees that bent backwards. Time itself didn't work right in these zones. Karen watched in silence as a river flowed uphill. What is this place? He asked. The guard answered, This is the edge of reality. When the first gate opened long ago, something came through. Your father helped seal it. But even sealed, the gate leaked power. Earth was never the same again. Finally, they'd reached their destination. The ship hovered over a mountain range, covered in storms and thunder. At its center stood a massive ring built into the ground, 20 stories tall, carved with alien runes, half buried in black stone. The gate. It wasn't just a portal. It was a scar on the planet, a wound that had never healed. The moment they stepped off the ship, the sky darkened. The wind stopped. The air around the gate hummed with energy. Karen approached slowly. As he got closer, his hand began to glow. The suit responded. So did the runes on the gate. One by one, they lit up. I can feel it pulling me, he said, like it knows me. It does, said Lorena. Your blood carries the old signature. From my people. Your father helped design the seal. Now you must unlock it. As Karen stepped into the center of the ring, visions exploded in his mind. He saw stars collapsing, worlds burning, voices crying for help, then falling silent. He saw the maw itself, not a shape, not even a creature, just a great hunger. A black sea with no bottom. It had already consumed 6 planets. And Earth was next. Suddenly, the whispers grew louder. Let go. Give in. No pain. No war. Just silence. Peace. Karen dropped to his knees, screaming. Lorena ran to him. Fight it. You're stronger than it. But he couldn't hear her. Then, from deep within the gate, something rose. Not a voice. Not a being. But a memory. His father. Smiling. Laughing. Holding his hand. You are not alone, son. You never were. The vision cleared. Karen stood up slowly. The gate glowed blue. Fully awake. It's open, he said. Just then, an explosion rocked the mountain. A new ship entered the sky, but it was not made of metal. It was bone. The maw had arrived. It didn't send ships to fight. It sent itself. The sky cracked like glass. Gravity broke. Birds froze in midair. Time stuttered. The bone ship released tendrils of black smoke that snaked toward the gate. Lorena yelled, If it touches the gate, it will flood into every world we ever knew. The royal guard activated a weapon, one last relic from her people, and fired into the sky, cutting the tendrils in half. But it wasn't enough. The maw kept coming. Inside the gate circle, Karen took a deep breath. I can stop it, he said, but I have to go through. I have to pull the maw in and seal it from the other side. Lorena's face fell. You won't survive. I know, he said, but Earth will. Tears filled her eyes. There must be another way. Karen smiled softly. You gave me something no one else ever did. Purpose. He stepped to the center. The gate howled. The maw screamed in fury. But then, something happened. Lorena ran in after him, grabbing his hand. Their powers combined. Her light. his blood, their bond. And the gate responded with a sound like thunder and music at the same time. A burst of pure energy exploded outward. The Maw's tendrils were cut. Its ship began to fold in on itself. It tried to pull away, but it was too late. The gate pulled it inward. And then, boom, a light brighter than 1,000 suns filled the sky. Then darkness. When Karen opened his eyes, he wasn't on Earth. He stood in a white field, under a golden sky. Lorana was beside him. And so was the gate. But it was different now. Stable. Safe. Behind them, in the far distance, were ships. Many ships. Her people had arrived. She smiled. "We're alive," she whispered. But Karen already knew. They had crossed into the stars. The last breath. Everything was quiet. The stars above didn't burn. They shimmered like soft candlelight in a calm sky. The ground was silver grass that moved like water. Strange glowing trees swayed without wind. Karen stood in the middle of it all, staring at a distant tower floating in the sky, connected by rings of light. It felt like a dream. Beside him, Lorana sat quietly. Her eyes were closed. She was breathing deeply, calm now. Her silver skin healed. The light from her body was steady. They had made it. The gate had pulled them through space, past reality, into a place between worlds. It was not her home planet. Not Earth. It was something else. A borderland. A space only the gate could reach. Suddenly, voices echoed all around. Soft. Musical. Not in any language Karen knew, but somehow he understood. The last gatekeeper has returned. And he is not alone. Dozens of glowing beings appeared, tall, thin, and made of light. They bowed to Lorana. One stepped forward, a female figure with burning white eyes. "We are the builders. We made the first gate. We sealed the Maw before. And we waited, for the key, for him." She looked at Karen. He swallowed hard. "Why me? I was just a mechanic." The builder smiled softly. "You were more. You carried the bond. Your father hid the key inside you. But it was your heart that unlocked it." Karen didn't know what to say. The builder continued. "The Maw has been sealed behind the gate, for now. But the gate is broken. It cannot hold forever. One must stay. One must become the anchor. One must choose." Lorana stood quickly. "Then let me stay." Karen turned to her, shocked. "No, Lorana, you can't. You're a princess. Your people need you." She stepped closer. "And Earth needs you. You saved me. You saved everything. Your kind will remember that. My kind will finally see humans not as broken, but brave." "But you'll be trapped here," Karen said, voice shaking. "Forever." Lorana smiled. "Then it will be a beautiful prison. And you'll live. That's enough." The builders formed a circle around the gate. Its frame began to crack, glowing brighter. A countdown had begun. If no one stayed, the Maw would break through again. Karen looked at Lorana, this strange girl who had once been a silent, breathless creature near death. Now she was alive, glowing, a queen. And he loved her. He took her hands. "No," he said quietly. "We stay together, or we die together." Lorana shook her head. "Karen." But he stepped forward, turned to the builders. "There must be another way." The oldest builder spoke. "There is a bond strong enough to share the anchor. If joined, both may stay. But not as you are. You will change. You will not return." Karen looked at Lorana. "Are you afraid?" She smiled. "Not with you." The builders formed a new ring. Light flowed around the couple. Energy surged through the sky. Time bent. Karen and Lorana stood in the center. Their hands touched. Light poured from them, blue and silver weaving together like a new star. Their bodies began to change. Karen's skin shimmered. not silver, but something in between, human and something else. His eyes burned softly. His breath slowed, but never stopped. They weren't dying. They were becoming. The first of something new. The gate changed with them. It didn't close. It became a living thing. A bridge of peace, of warning, of memory. A symbol across the galaxy that two beings, once strangers, chose unity over fear. Years passed. Back on Earth, stories spread. Of a boy who vanished with the stars. Of a glowing woman who stood between Earth and a cosmic storm. Children whispered about the sky lovers. Pilots who flew too close to the old dead zone sometimes heard voices in their dreams. Calming, guiding. In the stars, across many systems, monuments were built in their name. But no one knew the full truth. Only the stars did. And the stars remembered. In the space between worlds, where time didn't move forward or back, Karen and Lorana stood at the heart of the gate. Guardians. Not rulers, not warriors, but keepers of peace. And whenever darkness stirred again, they would be ready. Together. Always.